Yeah, we gotta give this a second.
There goes Parth.
Oh, got kicked out.
Parth.
Got kicked out
like
for a
my
second.
guy was gone.
2 viewers. Look at that. Loyal listeners. Appreciate y'all, man. Let's give it a. We'd like to wait till a minute now. All professional and stuff. Two. Blitz boys.
Back in action. How you guys feeling today, man? I mean, of course, we're gonna get our real introductions in a second, but they treated you guys well.
No.
No.
I'm tired, man. I hate having to go into the office, bro. I'm a spoiled work from homer. And like, I mean, I don't even have anything to do for the office right now. Like for me, they're just telling me to go into the office to show my face performatively. And I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, why
working from home must be nice, brother.
Oh,
talking to someone 5 days a week in the office.
Listen, get your ass to City Hall. I've seen it. It's a nice building. Get your ass to the building, bro. In Savannah, bro. All right. For those who don't know, Pierre actually lives the Parks and Rec life. He tells us about the stuff that happens at work for him, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is like the plot of an episode of Parks and Rec. And he's like, yeah, I've heard that a lot. That people say that, and I'm like, yeah, dude, you're living it, bro. So.
Little tidbit into my work life. I pissed off an alderman one time to go to Nolan Smith's honors thing after the Eagles won a Super Bowl.
He got a strongly worded email.
Strongly worded
email. Ditch me for Nolan Smith. He's like, yes, brother, you got the key to the city. Do you have the key to the city, Alderman? Do you have the key?
That's how much Birds football matters to me.
Damn right.
Man, Man got to work the next day. And he said, "Let me tell you something about yourself, pal."
All right, we have 14 people in here. I think we get started. So, welcome everybody to the Philly Blitz Pod, powered by 14th and Market, episode 107, the 10 Michael Vick Pod. You know, I was kind of thinking, I was like 107. You know, you don't get the numbers anymore, but
D Jackson Vick.
Mm-hmm.
D Jackson Vick. Oh, we're gonna get a lot of those now. So D Jackson, everybody for 93 more episodes, and then we'll move on to Carson Wentz and everybody. Not AJ Brown. We're gonna go with Carson Wentz. Just kidding.
Here we go.
Anyways,
I'm about to say somebody probably left.
Already. They were like, "Oh, this is a Carson Wentz pod." No, I don't want that. But Eagles football is back, man.
They used to call Carson Ginger Jesus, bro.
Listen, that some of the escapes out of the pocket, like, I'm not going to argue with the name, bro. Like, Carson was special, bro. That was a time in history where I can look back at it fondly now. Like, we've come out on top. We're good now. Everything's all settled. We have.
He didn't shake Jalen Hurts' hand in the Super Bowl.
What's up?
He didn't shake Jalen Hurts' hand in the Super Bowl.
But, he's a weirdo, bro. Everybody knows it. But my point is we have a guy who won't even put on his damn ring. Like, I don't care. I can talk about the Carson Wentz era fondly. I can look back at it like the beginning of it. The end of it was horrible and so painful. But like the beginning of it was cool. There were some cool moments. But anyways, football is back. We don't have to do this bullshit of having to go back and just look at the last couple of years for just anything because there's no football on. I don't know how I'd feel, man. Like I was like, all right, football's back. I was excited, but like the beginning of training camp is like, beginning of training camp. And then I saw the AJ Brown tweet, the tweet about AJ Brown's quote about, Terrace Marshall is making the receiver room uncomfortable.
Bro, I immediately thought of you when I heard him say that.
I was in the car and my brother shows it to me and I'm like, oh, dude, football is back. Like, it's back, baby. Now we're having Terrace Marshall conversations. That's what we're doing. Y'all tried to shut me down. That's what we're having. AJ and I, that's what we're having. We're having Terrace Marshall conversations. All right. But I mean, it's just so great, dude. Seeing the clips of everybody running out. You see Jalen running out to practice. And I'm thinking like, God, dude, he probably sucks to practice with if you're lazy, man.
He's a psychopath.
He's a psycho, bro.
They said he was on the practice field for like an hour after practice finished.
Doing walkthroughs. Like, it was like the Russell Wilson walkthroughs, but not corny. It was a very intriguing concept to see. He doesn't need to just throw his hip every 30 seconds, But anyways, we'll get into everything in a second. How are you boys doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Eagles football is back.
All is okay in the world. It's once again sunny in Philadelphia. Sound like it started raining a little bit up the street in New York, but I mean,
I actually looked
good to know that everything worked out properly. Dislocated toe. We'll see how Justin Fields feels over the next couple of days. But
did y'all see? Wait, speaking of Justin Fields, did y'all see the thing I sent y'all in the chat this morning where they have like they put like the GoPros on all their quarterbacks' helmets? That is such an like fascinating thing to me. Like, why haven't other teams done that? Like, it seems like it have like a lot of positives.
Yeah, I mean, you can see what the defense is doing from the quarterback,
and not even just that, but like you can see like where the quarterback's eyes are going.
Right.
Like you get sound, like you hear him call the play in, like just different things like that.
Probably because it looks a little stupid. I think that's.
I mean, it's practice though.
No, 100%, 100%, dude.
I mean, they want to look.
You think Jalen Hurts is going to break the aura for a GoPro? You think Jalen Hurts is going to be like, yeah, put a GoPro on my helmet? He already hates wearing the red jersey. He's like, let me practice with the linemen.
I want you to hit me.
Yeah, he's like, put a GoPro on me now. What am I? What am I? A show horse or something? You know. But enjoy from the other teams. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, I don't see him doing it. Just like he'll never wear a Guardian cap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was just saying that. All the guys.
The Chris Olave Guardian cap. You saw that? They said they put him in the Mega Guardian cap. Bro, his Guardian cap was huge, bro.
He's got like 7 concussions, bro.
Just stay his faff. Stay healthy, Chris.
Absolutely, man. He's good when he's good when he's healthy. But I did see a Saints fan tweet. They said Tyrann Mathieu retires when we finally get a Super Bowl caliber roster. Somebody quote tweeted what kind of roster? Like, excuse me? The Tyler Show Super Bowl roster. So
I'm about to say, brother must have forgot who was taking snaps at quarterback this year.
Is he signed? Did he sign yet?
This is a Spencer.
I think every Rattler except 2 have signed.
It is a Rattler fan. It is a
Spencer Rattler fan club.
I'm glad we're finally on board. But as we get back onto the floor of things, wubba lubba dub dub, you know, the regular. And like you guys said, Birds of Football is back, man. We get to sit here and be sickos all across the timeline about who did what, get to overanalyze what this guy said, and kind of have fun over the next 5.5, 6 weeks until we get the real thing. So, I mean, before we get to talk about some of the action that we've seen, what's you guys' vibe as we began to open up camp? Like, as we've seen the guys coming in with their, not the uniforms, but coming in with their suitcases, like first day of school vibes back again. What was your guys' feeling? Like, how are you feeling about this? Are you still in celebration mode? I mean, of course, as fans, we have the right to until another Super Bowl is crowned. But
so actually, let me pivot this into another question. Because I mean, if we're having this conversation, then we should talk a little bit about what happened, right? Like the Eagles finally gave out their rings. Tough, bro, tough. With the wings coming out.
Brother,
come on,
the button.
Man.
You pressed the button in the wing spot.
That's button hard, in the wing spot. Come on. I asked Green. I was like, so, I mean, you know, I got you a ring. Is it the one you're gonna get me? And you know, I haven't gotten a response yet, but I'm hoping it's positive, you know, and I'm hoping Jeffrey just gives her a discount. He's like, you know, I heard you from the Philly Blitz. We got you, you know, just one of those, but you know, waiting to see. But those are amazing. And I touched on it a little bit at the beginning. You know, everybody's celebrating, everybody's having a good time, trying on their rings because you know they're fitted to you because they get them fitted to your finger size, ring size. One person didn't take it out of the goddamn box. He took a picture holding the box. Now, who would do that, and why? And Pierre, you know what? You answer, bro.
That's such a Jalen thing to do, bro.
It's so extra, dude.
Bro, like, I'll text y'all in the chat, bro. Imagine Cooper and Quell coming up to him because they're rookies. They just won a Super Bowl. Bro, he's ranked so hard. Press the button, the wings pop out, and Jalen's just stands there blankly. We're on the next season. It's a new year. It's a new year. Like, bro, put the ring on, man. Celebrate.
Enjoy your smile.
Yeah.
Smile. Well, he did smile. He did smile.
And it's
smile
like
with the ring.
And it's like I kind of, to an extent, I kind of relate to that because it's kind of difficult for me to kind of celebrate my wins too. I'm always like on to the next thing, but at the
You won the
same
Super
time,
Bowl?
like not to that level part. But no, like I get it to an extent, like, but at the same time, like I said, bro, relax, man. Just put the ring
no
on.
getting it.
Yeah.
The thing with Jalen that we all just understand at this point, and we love about him, is he is always portraying an image. Every decision,
I don't even know if it's an image at this point. I just think this is who he is.
I think it's part of it. I think this is all safe in training. Like I think this is all just like we're avoiding any. What'd you say? Well,
rat poison.
That's what I was about to say. We're avoiding any rat poison. I don't want any, and that's what it comes down to, and that's the image that he wants to portray. Because you put something out there, oh, I'm celebrating with this ring, and then somebody gets to put it on their board, and then all of a sudden there's a whole controversy about it. Like he's very careful about everything he says. We see it in every press conference as well, and I think it just manifests itself in the way he presents himself because he's a very private individual, bro. Like he didn't want people to know that he got married. He doesn't want people to know about a lot of things, and that's valid. Like you're a person, you have every right to that privacy, but it's just like very Jalen Hurts to do, right? And then he spoke to it this morning in the press or I guess yesterday in the press conference in Mailata as well. But before I get to that, Quell, did you have anything to say about that? About the whole ring ceremony?
You're muted, bro.
God damn it. Just kind of pivot off what you guys said. I mean, typical Jalen Hurts fashion. What else could you expect from him? But I mean, in the same light of everything, I get him. I seen a joke on Twitter, and I mean, like I like to say, all good jokes contain true stuff. Where
You
I
like
mean, if you guys,
yeah, you like to say that or J. Cole does?
Sometimes, but in the same breath of all that, maybe if y'all gave the rings out at the Super Bowl, at the Super Bowl parade or something, he'd wear it. But
no,
we are just days away from camp, and you want him to be focused on celebrations from last year. I mean, yeah, it's cool one last time to get together with all the guys that you won a championship with. Maybe not last time, but last time celebrating in this fashion. But I mean, as Kobe said, job's not done.
To be fair, it's hard to make a ring that you can click a button and wings come out. So they were probably taking some time making those. But yeah, listen, I get it. But at the same time,
to that point, Q, you talk about the Kobe and everything like that. Like that's like mentality wise, it screams Kobe, MJ, like those like I don't know what's the word, like insanely obsessed athletes, like that are just like obsessed with greatness or whatever the case may be. It's on the same lines, along the same lines as that.
Just all I would say is I think that's all valid, but these guys also say it after their career, after they're out of it. Of just make sure you enjoy those moments. Those are moments that like you can do everything you want to bring that moment back. You can do everything right.
To say that he didn't. I mean, we seen him.
Sure, but like, dude, like I get it, but it's like. It's just like it's extra. We dude. I mean, you're holding the box, and everybody's wearing the ring. Like you're being different to be different. We can be honest about that, and it's okay. It's who Jalen is, and that's totally fine. And I appreciate that. I was about to get to that, but it's like, bro, enjoy the moment too.
Just put the ring on, bro.
We're all good, but like, put the damn ring on. It's like
I wonder if like his teammates, I wonder if they get annoyed by it at all.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's exactly what I texted the group chat. It was like, I realized like I love Jalen as a fan, but as a teammate and as a teammate who would like to, mess around every once in a while, not be Nick Saban focused all the time, I'd be like, all right, bro, put the damn ring on, dog. That's a perspective I'm coming from where it's like, all right, bro, we won the damn Super Bowl. It's good. At the same time, you're like, all right, like, I guess he's a psychopath and he's different. And like, you let him do that. But at the same time, your party is like, we can take pictures holding the rings, bro. We can take a picture with the ring finger up, but that's okay. It's who he is. And that's why he's the way he is. And I understand they were like, he's not going to do it until he can do the Brady picture and those types of things. Brady took those pictures too. So, whatever it is, you enjoy yourself. It's over, and that's how the Eagles are looking at it too. It's like, and And that's why I say you can find that balance too, because Jordan Mailata took pictures smiling with the ring, but then when he was interviewed, he said, "We're not defending anything." And I really, really like this quote because you go into the season of like Super Bowl hangover of both sides, right? We saw the other side of after you lose the Super Bowl, how hard it is to really get back. Now we're going to experience the other. We have experienced it in 2017, but with this team of like, hey, you just won a Super Bowl. How are you going to respond? And it almost feels like in 2018, it felt like we kind of had that, oh, we just won the Super Bowl kind of excitement, right? And this year, you see it throughout the team, even with guys who were celebrating there and wearing rings, whatever it was. It's like, hey, this is a new season. That party was on Sunday. It was on Saturday. Like it's a whole new week. It's a whole new season, and to see that approach is important.
Yeah, but to answer both of you guys' questions, just on like how I'm feeling or whatever, like I think it's dope to see the kind of like uniformity in everybody's answers when they talk about it. And I think that goes to the Jalen point of him being so laser focused and everything like that, to the other side of the coin, right? Like his teammates, they listen, they follow him, like they follow his lead, and you can see it in how everybody was talking. Parth, you talk about Mailata and him saying, what was the quote? Yeah, we're not defending anything.
Yeah, we're not defending anything.
Yeah, and even like Sirianni, like you hear him always talk about climbing a mountain and everything like that, and just how kind of common a lot of the different phrases are that him and Jalen both use, and just how all the entire team kind of just falls in line with that. And I think it speaks to kind of a bigger point about the overall culture of the team. Like they work hard, like they know, what it. Yeah. Go ahead, Q.
It starts from the top and I mean, just listening to both of you guys talk, I specifically you, Parth, where I kind of had this vision, and this kind of what it felt like in 2018 after the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I mean, me specifically, I'm blessed to be able to have the opportunity to be able to be there when the Eagles dropped their banner this year as well. But I had the opportunity to be there in 2018 when they dropped the banner from the Super Bowl win, and all off season it's Super Bowl champions. We're okay. I mean, it's our first ring. It's kind of like your birthday at that point. You should celebrate and party. These days don't come around every day. But then as the season came around, I kind of felt like not just me as a fan, but the football team as well, watching how everything unfolded. I mean, you look at all the injuries that were still backloading the team from the season before, waiting on guys to get healthy and things of that nature. But kind of felt like that guy who I talked about you partying on your birthday. And I mean, you could be Quinyon Mitchell when you're 24 years old and fresh out of college. But here you are, 31, 32, and you try to party like it's 1999. And
brother, if there's one day to party like it's 1999, it's on your birthday.
Yeah, for sure. But
yeah, like if there's one day to risk it all and to be like, to hell with it, I'm 21 again. It's your birthday. I'm gonna do it in a week.
You wake up.
That's why I'm saying it. I'm gonna do it in a week.
You wake up. You should. But you wake up in the morning. After when you're 31, 32, you wake up in the morning after partying like it's 1999 and you're looking around and you're wiping the scrog off your face and your body hurting and you can't get out the bed. Like, man, I can't do it. I ain't got it like I used to. That's kind of what it felt like watching that Eagles team win the Super Bowl. Like when they say Super Bowl hangover, it literally felt like a hangover.
In 17, it's 17, yeah.
And it kind of, I don't want to say, it kind of like to take a quote from Jalen Hurts. I mean, not even just from Jalen Hurts, because even you can go a little further into Travis Kelce, where you remember the losses. You remember the losses a whole hell of a lot more than you remember the wins. And like Jalen Hurts say all the time, that 2022 loss, it broke him. But then when I realized, when I seen how everything took place for the Eagles, and I mean, by the end, it ended well, double doink and all that cool stuff. But everything that it took to get there, it kind of broke me, for lack of a better term, where even with this offseason, I mean, I have my flexing a little bit every now and then, like we're the Super Bowl champions. But for me, it was always, all right, so ball's in your court now. What you gonna do when you got the ball? Everybody got the attention on you. You played a season longer than everybody except one other team. You can't keep selling. You can't wake up with like that guy I talked about with the grog on your face anymore. You gotta be ready to show up and play come these Sundays. And I mean, like you said, Pierre, to hear the way that some of these guys were talking, it makes me really confident in the yeah, we're the champions, but we're trying to build something bigger than just this one memorable season.
And I think that's where,
in a way, it's kind of reminiscent of the whole, because we keep bringing up 2017, but Doug Peterson at the parade when he said, "This is our new norm," kind of thing. It's kind of reminiscent now of that, because it's like,
it's not just saying it.
You listen to them talk, and it's like they know how to act. Like, it's like they've been here before, right?
And that's what I was about to say, is that, like, it's a second ring, right? First ring has, and we talked about this after, I think we talked about the parade podcast, the live podcast, where it's like you get that first ring and it's like, oh shit, I got a ring, like I'm so happy. Now you have the second one, and it's like, all right, you get a little greedy. What else am I going to get? What comes after this? And I think that's that's what we're seeing, and that's what's good. And so, you know, they all celebrated. They had fun on at the ring ceremony, obviously, except Jalen, but they all came back, right? And they came back with a renewed focus. And, you know, speaking to what you said about the culture, Pierre, you see it with the screenshot you sent us in the group chat, where it's like Jalen Carter is not practicing, but he's on the sidelines and he's cheering on Ty Robinson, and he's letting them know that he's, like, you know, doing a good job or whatever it might be. And this is the Jalen Carter who just a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm about to say, bro, like Jalen Carter, like the same dude who was drag racing in Athens, Georgia. And
I mean, he dropped because he dropped because of all the cultural issues, right? People were like, we don't know if we can trust him to be, you know, dependable in the locker room. It was even beyond just like the drag racing. It was like, she kind of acted like a crash out a lot. And what we've seen is he's been able to rein that in and be a crash out on the field, but also learn to be a leader off the field. And that's what's so important. And that's the growth that we're seeing. That's a growth you need to see to be a dynasty, right? Jalen Carter got ranked as the #1 D tackle in the league, you know, this year. Follow it up, right? Make sure you have those guys coming up with you. Also, speaking of D tackles, I want to kind of move on from what we were just talking about. Jordan Davis, brother, hit the Peloton. He's been eating his veggies.
26 pounds. 26
he looks
pounds,
good,
man.
bro. And like 26 pounds, like for people who are like, oh, it's not that much. He was 300, whatever. Like 26 pounds doesn't just mean he only lost 26 pounds. That means a lot of the fat turned to muscle, because muscle weighs more than fat. And then he lost fat on top of that. Like, his body composition looks completely different. Like, he just looks slimmer in photos. And I think it's just going to be exciting to see. He looks stronger, you know, like before he kind of had like baby fat, and it looks like he kind of has some strength behind it. And I know we've talked about this on the pod in the past of like, is that his superpower, right? Are we sacrificing superpower for athleticism? But damn, man, it looks like it could be a good balance. I don't know. What did you guys think after you saw all that?
Yeah, he spoke to it. I think it was today. I think it was today, but he talked about how him kind of losing that weight would kind of allow him to be more, I guess, have more agility and kind of just move like in space better. And so I think, you know, that combined with what we saw from him in the playoffs as a pass rusher, like I was talking to somebody earlier today, but like the skill set has always been there, right? It's just about him, you know, being consistent with it on one hand with the whole dietary and conditioning. And then on the second hand, again, just him being, you know, consistent with his pass rush production. So I think him losing the weight, I don't think it's going to, you know, cause him to kind of lose his superpower. If anything, I think it'll just make him more, you know, consistent and more available on the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so kind of a similar point as you, Pierre. I'd be lying if I said that when I seen the initial pictures, it was like Jordan Davis looked like he ate Jordan Davis and then threw him back up. It's like, what the hell just happened? But I mean, at the same time, like Vic mentioned on this presser, he was down a little last season in the year. Maybe not as much as he is at this point, but we've seen him on the field at a slimmer size, and he was a bit more productive, man. He allowed himself to have an opportunity to stay on the field and play a little more, things of that nature. So I'm excited to see exactly what this could mean for Jordan Davis. I mean, find damn time to do it when you're talking about a 5th-year option and contract season and all that. But I mean, hey, better late than never.
Absolutely. And I mean, we talked about it when they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, in that like it's gonna just be a significant year. You get to prove yourself. Yeah, I think it's gonna be I think it's just exciting to see. And I think it's a really good point you made, Quell, where we have seen this before. We've seen him come in and get more snaps. The key is gonna be staying on the field, right? So training camp can be all good.
mean, I guess I'll get into it. Like, we can really turn this, like, we can walk into overhaul the training camp conversation with this statement. But that's my big thing here with Jordan Davis in general, just being able to stay on the field, because there's a lot of I've been going through such a mental battle the closer we get to football season, because my brain is starting to ramp up like it loves to, and I get to have these football conversations, not just with you guys, but myself. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, well, historically speaking, year 2 of the Vic Fangio defense is usually always better than the first year. But I mean, that's a tough act to follow, what they did last year, first and foremost. And then on top of it being such a tough act to follow, you have so many young players. Like, you talk about turnover. You're talking about going from veteran Darius Slay and veteran CJ Gardner-Johnson. And yeah, we could talk about CJ and his mistakes back there. But the communication that was happening between those two, and not even just those two, those 5 in general back there, to be as successful. We talked about all season how is this Eagles defense built back to front now instead of front to back, and that communication played a whole lot of factor in that. So to be going from 2 veterans like that to a potentially young player, Kelee Ringo, who sounds like had a bit up and down day one, was a lot better today.
Brother, he got cooked day 1. Dog, I'm not even
I ain't gonna say cooked. I mean, getting beat by AJ Brown, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Terrace Marshall beat him twice.
Terrace Marshall is like, who beat Philly Blitz favorite Kelee Ringo on a go ball?
Terrace Marshall, LSU.
I hate that an LSU guy is my guy now, but yeah, like Terrace Marshall is my guy now. No, yeah, but the thing is like, it's training camp. Like Quell said, like, also having AJ Brown get one on your head is like, should happen.
I'd be worried about AJ.
Kind of like exactly. I saw that. I saw somebody tweet something similar as well, where it's just like, dude, AJ Brown just, in his press conference said that he thinks he's the best receiver in the league. Yeah, he's gonna cook your rookie corner, bro. Like, I'm not talking to you, Pierre. I'm just talking in general of like, it's going to happen. There's going to be growing pains in camp. We don't have Darius Slay and, ridiculous, like, greatest rookie corner of all time, Quinyon Mitchell out there,
To that point, like, and I was listening to Go Birds Pod with Elliot Short Parks, but he was saying how he was kind of worried about the secondary, just because, like, like we just talked about, Cooper and Quinyon had possibly 2 of the greatest rookie seasons for defensive backs that you're going to see, right? Like, that's not normal. That's not, replicable. I guess that's the word. And then you look around the DB room, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's gone. Darius Slay is gone. You got Sid Brown rotating in. You got McCluba rotating in. Tristan McCollum, Dory Jackson, and Kelee Ringo are rotating. So there are a ton of moving parts. And so it's like, there's potential for a kind of regression to the mean of sorts on the back end.
Exactly. And even like when you look at it, kind of goes into what Vic's point. And when he mentioned it, it was kind of one of those, well, we're doing this just in case he has to shadow a potential receiver. And I mean, to his point, he right, because when he was in certain spots, he had the cornerbacks and the horses to go shadow a guy. But for the most part, when you look at a Vic Fangio defense, that's not really his cup of tea. But he mentioned it in the aspect of that's why they got Quinyon working the opposite side from what he became acquainted to. And we had that conversation earlier in the offseason as well. But how I look at it, when I picture it is, I mean, the Eagles, most of your communication was on one side, especially when you went nickel, when you got Cooper and Quinyon on the same side. And Reed and CJ did a lot of switching back and forth between which road they were at in safety. But in this ideology, if you got a situation with Reed, Cooper, and Quinyon all on one side in the nickel package, and then you look to the other side and this two people that weren't here last year. You can't really, well, I don't want to say you can't do that, but it's not really a situation you want to see yourself in early in camp or early in the season if some people haven't showed you the ability. And I think that's why he's been so heavy on making sure Cooper gets these safety snaps, because the communication that is missing, and he wants to make it a lack of fall off in terms of that communication. Keep all the people around that have been here.
To that point, I think what it comes down to is last year, in the past, whatever it might be, I think I honestly like throw out everything Vic Fangio from before, right? Because it gives you some context, but the talent on this defense is a lot different than talent he's had, save for a couple years, maybe like, San Francisco and some of those teams. But my point is especially at corner, last year we really had 1A, 1B, right? Like that's what we had. It wasn't a corner 1, corner 2. They were both pretty equivalent. This year, and it's no offense to Keely Ringo, it just speaks to how good Slay and Quinyon were, but you have a pretty clear 1 and 2. And when you have a clear 1 and 2, it just makes more sense to switch. Like you're kind of alluding to, Quell, where it's like, hey, you don't just want a bunch of guys who, didn't play a lot last year just on one side of the field. And then, all of a sudden it's like, let me throw the ball to that side where all the good players are not. You want to make sure you spread your talent out. So it's just going to be it's going to be important that they have that flexibility on the back end. But to that point, they do seem to like Keely a lot. Adoree got some of the starting reps today as well. But beyond the Adoree Keely battle, because I think what it comes down to is they're probably just comfortable with those guys being cornerback 2. I just think that they like Cooper at safety a lot, for when they want to just keep him on the field a lot. Because that's been the report, is that Cooper DeJean has only been playing safety when they're going in base. He's not, bumping out to cornerback as we had kind of talked about
today. Vic did say they're going to try and get him some workout outside
corner. They are? Okay. Yeah, I missed that in the press conference. But to this point, they haven't done that. But that'll be interesting to see. I still tend to think that they probably keep him at safety and put the other guys at corner. I just think you have a little bit more experience, and
Hoop at safety might be a real thing at some point, man. Because he even got asked about Mac McWilliams and how he talked about Mac McWilliams. Basically,
they love him in the building.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I missed the press conference today,
and he said a lot of good things about Mac, but how he ended the statement, basically, he's an interesting guy. In the next 5 to 6 weeks, to see how he progresses and to see if he can find a role with us, I think he's really rooting for the idea of finding another nickel.
So let me ask you
this chess piece.
Let me ask you guys this now. As we're on this topic, like, who do you think has more of a chance? And we got this question about what rookie do you think is more likely to take a vet spot this year? I think the answer overall is Jahad Campbell. I think that's just like the baseline answer.
Whose spot is he taking?
Jeremiah Trotter.
He ain't have a spot.
Who's the second starter?
I mean, I guess he just thought about default, but
that's what they're saying. But that's what it's coming down to, right? Like, who's going to slide into a starting spot? Jahad wasn't supposed to be practicing this early, and he seems to be impressing at camp. That's what I would say. But for my question, what I wanted to ask, Quell, is who do you think has a better chance to get on the field, Andrew Makuba or Mac McWilliams?
Sheesh.
I think
who do you want to see as well? Like, give me. I know who Pierre
I think it's Makuba, just because the spot is kind of more up for grabs versus like the nickel spot. Cooper kind of has a stranglehold on it.
Right. You have to replace safety for Cooper to move to safety, and then yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I was trying to look for a window for it to be Mac McWilliams, but kind of like you guys outlined, it would have to be something horrifically bad going wrong, especially with the depth that they kind of have at the safety position, for Coop to be playing outside. Coop to be playing safety in nickel situations for Mac McWilliams to get on the field. Now, it kind of makes me like really get in my bag. Like I said, the brain get to churning. Like, so that means we're going to see more dime this year from the Eagles. So who knows, man?
Last year was the year nickel. This year, the year of dime.
Oh, we're still going to be a nickel team, purely nickel team. But you might see a little bit. It depends on who we go match up against. Because
some dime is exciting, but that also means like I guess you're dropping a linebacker at that point.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you want to get rid of the. Well, no. He's shown that, like we said in podcast of the past, where he values that linebacker. So it's either going to be a DB or a defensive lineman that leaves the field, at least historically. So who knows?
A lot of options for this defense this year, man, because like we've just kind of covered, there's some really interesting rookies, and obviously you have the talent from last year. It's just going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. What's up, Quell?
Just to throw it in there while we talking about it. I mean, like you said, like I just said, it could be a DB or a lineman that gets rotated. We saw what they love to do last year with Zach Bond. Vic talked about how they like to rotate their linebackers up in fronts. And he even mentioned that when talking about Jahad Campbell, who extra points to spend some time out there working with Jeremiah Washburn, similar to what Zach Bond
I wonder who made this exact same point like a month ago on the pod.
Who?
I wonder.
Me. Who was it?
It was me.
No, I couldn't have been. No way. It wasn't you, bro. I'm pretty sure it was Quell. I'm pretty sure it was Quell. Just gaslighting Pierre on the podcast in front of 93 people. I was like, no, dude, it was me. It was me. Okay, I mean, I saw this headline. I looked it up on Twitter. Eagles exploring potential updates to the link or leaving. The lease is through 2032.
Yeah, I think Jeff Lurie, he talked about it at the owners' meeting, just how Philadelphia, he thinks they deserve, or quote unquote deserve, like a Super Bowl. And I think to host Super Bowls, don't you? Yeah, you have to have like a retractable. Yeah,
you do. They've been talking about it for years,
you
bro.
You have to. I mean, somehow, some way, MetLife got one, but
that was years ago, right? Like
it's 12 years ago.
Yeah, but
I feel like
it changed, right? Like they were just kind of like, you have to have domes now. I don't know. Like this could be totally off base, but I don't know. I thought there was something like in the winter.
Has there ever been a Super Bowl like rainy or snowy?
Rainy.
You have to go back, bro. Like before domes and stuff for sure.
And I mean, I don't think that you necessarily have to go domes because I think they also love to have Super Bowls in Miami. Miami doesn't have a dome. So, I mean, I just think you got to have a fair location. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
No, they don't because they have the stupid the sun thing. Yeah. The sun thing. That's
and when they built the stadium, they built it like that to give themselves a competitive advantage.
That's insane, bro. Giving the other team heat stroke to win.
Kind of cheating. It's kind of cheating. Just
is it though? Is it? Let's be honest.
I think it is, bro. You're giving the other team a heat stroke,
dude, brother. The teams up north, they put like way more heaters on their side than they put on the guest team side.
Well, then bring your own heaters.
I'm about to say, y'all got to have me coming up here and playing in the freezing cold.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Y'all playing every week. Like, hell nah. Y'all go sit in the sun.
Exactly. Like, bro, you think Tua's Hawaiian ass is okay playing in the snow, bro?
No,
like,
he stinks in it.
Exactly. So make him suffer in the heat. It's fair. It's fair. All
that's fair. Why you got to be smart and do things like the Eagles and draft players that played football in the South where it's hot. And make them come up north and learn how to play in the cold, so that way you can play anywhere.
Exactly. All right, so we talked about the defense a little bit.
Wait, before we move on to the offense, can we just talk a little bit about Jahad?
I also want to talk about Jalix Hunt. That's what I was going to talk about.
But just a little bit on Jahad before we move to Jalix. No, he shined day one. Like you said, Parth, he wasn't expected to be on the field, according to Vic. So I think that's like
he just was there. But the fact that he was there is.
I mean, they said
going here.
They said he was turning heads with his athleticism and kind of the open field quickness and speed and everything like that. Just him being there, I think that's an excellent sign for his health and the linebacker rotation in general.
I mean, from a reporter standpoint, I did hear that he was quote unquote turning heads, but based on what Vic was saying, I don't want to say he doesn't sound impressed. I think he's in love with the player there. But
no, I got the quote. I got the quote right here. He said, at that position in particular, obviously you have to know what to do and how to do it, assignment and technique, but the instincts part of it, play recognition, diagnosing things, how quickly do you react? That's very telling at that position, and we'll see how fast he comes along in that area. And I think it makes sense because like it shouldn't shock anybody that Jihad's athleticism is kind of making waves and turning heads because that was kind of the calling card with him. The con, if you want to phrase it that way, was the instincts, the kind of mental decision making and things like that.
Yeah, and I think that's just a classic Vic comment, right? Where it's like he likes the guy, he likes what he can bring, but you have to earn your spot with Vic Fangio. He's not going to just give it to you. You know, Cooper DeJean didn't just have the spot handed to him. Quinyon Mitchell didn't have the spot handed to him. You earn it. You earn Vic's trust, and he's focusing on him, right? We remember from mini camp of Vic working one-on-one with Jihad. So obviously he sees potential in him, but Vic's not going to put him out there too early, and that's to Jihad's benefit as well. You know, you don't want to just go out there and just be run around with like a chicken with its head cut off. You want to be out there knowing what you're doing and able to, diagnose the plays and react to them. But
that's why I think having a coordinator like Vic and a position coach like what's his name, Bobby King. And I read up a little bit on him. His whole thing is like he's huge on technique and everything like that. So I think him having kind of access to those two coaches just in the summer, how they're kind of trying to bring him along slowly, I think it's going to be huge for him.
Yeah, having the coach who coached Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, and Zach Bond is usually pretty good.
Just another thing that Vic mentioned, like just listening to you guys talk, like he also mentioned, which I mean, we talked about the change in personnel that they could be facing, but what can't go understated is the fact that, I mean, unlike offensively, they have some consistency in terms of the coaching staff that they're bringing back on the defensive side of the ball. So having Vic, it's already one thing having Vic in the building, but we see the work that some of these position coaches were able to do with some of the guys last year. Of course, like you mentioned, Bobby King, I mean, Christian Parker. Yeah. Clint Hurt. So it's exciting to see these guys still in the building to continue to help these guys at those positions that were there before grow, but to try to get the most out of guys that are just getting in the building and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
But I guess we can, well, before we rotate to the offensive side of the ball, just a tangent, side note. Hey, Eagles, I get it's the OTAs, the training camp, whatever you want to call it. Stop playing with me, dog. Stop playing with me, dog. We let go Britton Covey for a reason. You paid money to bring in Avery Williams to return kicks. He is the kick and punt returner, bro. Ain't no reason.
Wait. Are we on special teams now?
Yeah.
Wait, did you not want? I thought you were going to touch on your guy.
Who?
Jalix.
Oh, you're right. I was about to transition to offense. Wait, let me still get this tangent out right quick.
Get it done. Get it done, brother.
I should not be sitting here reading that Cooper DeJean, who I don't want to see take another kick or punt return.
They still had him back there returning punts.
It sucks because he's so exciting, but you can't risk it.
Anaya Smith, Giles Jackson, and Taylor Morin were fielding punts, while Avery Williams was not lined up with the punt returners. He was lined up with the coverage team. Stop playing with me, bro.
He wasn't even returning them at all?
No.
He was on coverage? That's all right. That's pretty boneheaded, bro.
Did you see the face Pierre making? That's how I felt when I read that. I'm like,
wait, what? Can y'all hear me?
Nah, you froze.
Pierre's frozen.
Jesus Christ. What is happening?
He's still shocked that Avery Williams is not taking kick returns.
Can y'all still hear me?
We hear you.
We can hear you, bro. Your face is completely frozen.
Jesus Christ.
Minus 1,000 aura. Oh, Pierre, you might not recover from that one, dog.
Wait a minute.
This is live podcast, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime,
I'll remove him for now. Go on, Quell.
In the meantime, kind of like you guys mentioned with the whole Jalix Hunt thing. I mean, we heard what Jordan Mailata said, just massive praise. Mentioned names like Micah Parsons in terms of the growth that he could make. But you guys know I've mentioned this since last season, how excited I was just to get him in the building. But my big thing with Jalix was always, man, just wait till he can get his NFL body, man. Wait till he can put on a little weight, which it seems as if he has this year, to become that real defensive end, that NFL quality defensive end, but still be able to maintain some of the traits that he has from his past as a safety. I'm really excited to see about what year 2 Jalix could potentially be in this defense.
No, absolutely, dude. I mean, you spoke about it last year, and even last year, like I was excited about Jalix, but if I'm being honest, I pumped the brakes. I was like, these guys take a long time to adjust. We all remember the oh man, I hope I don't Davion. You're on mute. What's the last name? Mitchell?
Davion Taylor.
Mitchell's a basketball player. That's why. Davion Taylor. We all remember the Davion Taylor experience of like, oh, this guy is juiced up, ex-safety. He can figure it out. It didn't work out. But with Jalix, it clicked. And to see that and to see him making waves even in the Super Bowl at his size was exciting. So to your point, you get some more weight on you. You're in the NFL locker room for a year, lifting and everything. I think it's going to be an exciting season, man. I think it's really exciting to see it. And my Lotta had a funny anecdote where he's like, I went from Sweat, having to practice against Sweat every week, to now having to practice against Jalix. And he's like, damn, let me get a break for a year. But I mean, that just speaks to it, like that this guy who was a Pro Bowler, all good. He's a special player. He sees Jalix and he's like, oh, this kid is damn good. He's got that change of direction. He's got, he's got it figured out, or he's figuring it out more so.
Mm-hmm.
So
that part.
Exciting player, and he's going to be important, dude. We've talked about it. Like, we have a lot of question marks at the other edge spot opposite from Nolan. He can make a name for himself. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know what the heck happened, bro.
You should have had like a cool excuse. You could have gotten back some aura points, but didn't know what happened. I can't give any back there. Sorry, bro. Any thoughts on Jalix, bro? Before we move on?
No, I mean, it was really interesting hearing Malata. He brought up Michael Parsons as far as I think what was the context in which he brought him up?
His change of direction.
He's being able to cut on a dime like that. Jalix is going to be a star.
Cut on a dime, 25.
Ooh.
Don't mention that guy.
Oh, come on.
But it makes sense. It makes sense when you consider like the dude was a former defensive back, so like the agility and everything like that. So
the name I brought up?
What?
Yeah.
Former defensive back, transitioned to another position for us. He transitioned to linebacker. Colorado.
Davion Taylor?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his last name, but Davion Taylor.
Bro, they hyped him up like crazy. He was supposed to be him.
I was like, this Davion Taylor's the truth. Ooh, we got Fred Warner. Let's go.
Wasn't there it was something like crazy, like he hadn't played down of football or something like that,
or something, right?
And
like he couldn't play on Fridays, and then he could play on Saturdays, something like that. No, I don't know, whatever, something like that. But he didn't play. He hadn't played. So there was like, oh, the sky's the limit for this guy. He could figure it out here.
That was before we had
narrator.
Yeah, that was with Johnny Gans,
your boy, Parth.
Bozo.
Jonathan Gannon isn't a linebacker whisperer. He's a DB's coach, man.
He's a clown. Is what
Can't tell.
He's a clown.
Can't tell.
Are you sure? Why can't you? The least amount of big plays given up in the NFL. I think every single year you look up, it's a Jonathan Gannon team up there.
Has Jonathan Gannon won anything of significance ever?
Yes.
No.
Our hearts.
NFC Championship.
He was going
maybe yours.
I mean, hold on. Let me finish my sentence. He stole our hearts after he told us we're going to get out there. We're going to gut them. Talking about the 49, boy. I was sitting there like, 100-year contract.
Hilarious that Nick Sirianni talked about flowers. Gannon talked about gutting people, and Sirianni is still here, and Gannon is just wasting away on the Cardinals. God, wishing nothing but the worst to you, Arizona. Nothing but the worst. I hate you. Jonathan. Jalen should have 2 if it wasn't for his dumb ass. Okay, anyways, maybe Jalen would have celebrated. If he had 2. This is Jonathan Gannon's fault. It all comes back to him.
Explosives.
Pew, pew. Pew. Anyways, Jalix Hunt looks good. O-line, Kenyon Green not practicing.
It's looking
that's Tyler
bad.
Steen's spot, bro. That is Tyler Steen's
spot. It's a bigger conversation to be had at this point right now.
Wasted.
At first, it's Tyler Steen's spot. Yeah, you're cooking something, Parth, and it smells good. But
per usual.
But you sit here and you look at an OTAs where, I mean, they tried to give him a shot. He rotated in on a limited basis with the ones, but for the most part, he operated with the 2s and the 3s. And then here you are in training
camp,
the damning part. And you're just not even practicing right now, bro. Like, it's just looking like no hope, hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
Like they sitting there ready to pull the plug. Like, all right, this was a failed experiment.
Do you think they pull the plug, or do you think they just keep him as reserve? I feel like you got to just keep him as reserve, right? Like,
I mean, hell, I'd love to agree with you because you use draft capital to go get them and stuff of that nature. But the Eagles have a lot of guards, man. We talked last year about with Trevor Keegan if he could play a role in this.
Well, Keegan's been taking snaps, right? Like they've been having Keegan play some center as well is what I was reading. They had Keegan taking snaps as well as because Cam Jurgens didn't take all of his snaps.
Because he's been hurt, right? Or he's recovering from.
He's recovering. I'm blanking on the name. But Keegan took some of the snaps as well. That's what I wanted to point out.
It wasn't Dylan McMahon. Who was it?
No, Dylan McMahon's gone.
It's hard.
What's the other guy?
You talking about Kendall?
Yeah, Drew Kendall.
Yeah,
I think it was him.
Yeah. That would mean he's the one who actually plays center. Yeah, it's definitely him. But Trevor Keegan took snaps as well. That's what I wanted to point out. That like at least trying, and they've done this in the past with some guys, but they definitely prefer guys who played center, which is why they went and got Kendall because snapping the ball is hard. You know, it's not easy. Getting into the right spot is not easy, and so it's just better if you have a guy who's had experience doing that in the past. So we talked about receivers a little bit. I also wanted to mention, little shout out from Saquon to Will Shipley.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
Yeah, he was asked, like, do you think Will Shipley can step into the Kenny Gainwell role? And Saquon was like, yeah, hell yeah. And he even said, definitely. And then he even says that Shipley is the smartest guy in the running backs room, to the point where it kind of pisses Saquon off sometimes when he's like picking stuff up and he's like, oh damn, like I should have gotten that. That's the kind of stuff that you love to hear, especially not just because it's like, oh cool, this back of the roster guy is like making a name for himself, had a good Super Bowl obviously, and then he's making a name for himself here in camp, but also because a guy on Saquon's level of just like ability, knowledge, all of that, to see that he's still getting frustrated in the film room that somebody else is getting something before him. That's like the same thing that we're talking about Jalen with the ring and that type of thing. It's just like, it's a quest.
Great to see you wanted more.
What'd you say?
I said, it's great to see you wanted more. And just, I mean, kind of to your point, it's kind of a two-parter for me where it's cool to see this from Will, because I mean, you guys know how I felt about Kenny and Kenny's specific role in this offense.
Let's go. Well, we held it down.
We held it down, buddy.
Certain
people disregarded him and what he did for the team.
I didn't say the dude was like trash or nothing. I just said,
yes, you did. I'm almost 100% certain. I'm almost certain you said on the pod, Kenny G is trash.
I said he wasn't a 3-down back. That's what I said.
No. It went beyond that. It went beyond that, Pierre.
I said he's a nice change of pace guy.
And then you were like, Kenny G, why are you giving Kenny G carries? This, and that. You disrespected Kenny G.
This guy is trash.
He was a nice change of pace guy.
You called him trash. Kenny G didn't forget it. We didn't forget. All right.
He disrespected playoff Kenny. After what he did, after Miles Sanders fumbled the first Super Bowl snap.
That was crazy. Like, Miles,
we needed a man to step in.
You got it, brother. Like, just carry us, bro. As a rookie, too. That was the first good rookie. Shout out Kenny G, man. He's in Pittsburgh now, right?
Mm-hmm. He said he mentioned it to you, yelled at the skies. Like, I mean, Pittsburgh's cool. Thank you for signing me, but I miss Philly, man. We miss you too, brother. We miss you too, dog.
This was a good comment in the chat. How confident are we in Patullo year one? And I feel like we covered this question a good amount, and it's a big question for what we're expecting to see this season. I'm pretty confident, honestly, and I know I could sound like a broken record. I know I said that in the past for for other OCs, but Patullo has been in the building the entire time, man. And if our argument has been about
we should not have let Parth go first. The last time Parth went first, and he said he was pretty confident in the offensive coordinator.
Listen, last time I wrote an article about the offensive coordinator. All right, asshole, I'm not writing this time. Let me just talk, man. He was not given a fair shot, Quell. He was not given a fair shot. None of them were given a fair shot, man. That year was so disgusting and just malice filled. It's insane to me that it's the same team. But point is like
you didn't say QB draw to finish the sentence.
Basically, dude. I don't know what else to say, so let me just go QB draw. But to that point, like I just think that it's important that we've talked about continuity in the building, and we want people who can mediate, right? With Brian Johnson, we saw maybe it went too far to one side. With Shane Steichen, there was a good balance. Kellen Moore, there was a good balance. I think Kevin Patullo can bring a similar type of balance because he's been that guy, right? We've talked about the reports where Patullo is willing to call out Nick. He's close with Nick. He's Nick's boy, and we all know, like, sometimes your boy will call you out. You don't like it at first, but it's like, all right, man, like, if he's telling me, then like maybe I gotta listen up. For me, it's my little brother. He'll be like, all right, dude, chill out. And I'll like probably, crash out for like a little bit longer. And then I'll be like, man, like, he's right, but like, you gotta have some crash out. If you don't, like, where's the excitement in all of it? But point being that I think Patullo can be that kind of mediator between somebody who is as stone-faced as Jalen and somebody as emotional as Nick, and also just beyond that has a knowledge of what works for our team, for our players. He knows Jalen intimately at this point. Like, they've been in the same locker room, same QB room for years, dude. Like, he knows what he likes, what he doesn't like. Those are important things when you're talking about an OC, when you're talking about how you're going to run an offense around your team. And I think they have that balance.
Yeah, and to that point, Parth, I think the word mediator, I think that's a great word to describe him because, you read all the reports about how Kevin was the one kind of integrating Kellen Moore's offense or Nick Sirianni's offense into Kellen Moore's offense and kind of bringing and meshing the two together. And then to answer that question, I'm going to answer it with another question because it's been a common thing heard when you hear Kevin talk or Nick talk or Jalen talk this offseason. But what does the evolution of the Eagles offense look like to y'all, right? Like I said, that's been a common word used from Jalen, Kevin, Saquon, AJ, all of them, right? And we know Patullo comes from the Chan Gailey kind of family tree of offenses, right? Which at its core is kind of we about to talk ball, brother. Yeah, at its core, it's kind of like the spread offense, right? There's a lot of motion, a lot of moving of the pocket and play action and everything like that. And it seems like, I guess philosophy wise, they've been kind of married to that hybrid spread West Coast type of offense. So Kevin, I think he's in a good spot, man. I'm confident in him.
Well,
for me, kind of like just to lay into what Pierre said, what you didn't mention was the up-tempo portion of it. And, we all know Jalen Hurts loves him some up-tempo. So I think that once he mentioned that, Jalen Hurts' ears perked up a little bit. He leaned back in the chair and was like, all right, I'm listening. What you got from me, son? But I think for me, it's such a mass question because when you look at how this Eagles roster is constructed, should there be an evolution? Not necessarily should there be, because
the passing offense has to be better, bro.
That was going to be my next.
They were 29.
Let me cook, because buddy. But should there be an evolution? Because you look at how the team is constructed, and there's Saquon Barkley, and that offensive line, and as they like to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And teams are going to quote unquote try to force you to play a different way, which is where that evolution that we mentioned should begin to unfold. Exactly. But I don't think that they should go into the season talking about so how can we reinvent the wheel for the Philadelphia Eagles? Like, hey, turn around and get a ball to 26, take care of the football, get your guys the ball as needed to be. Like, let your playmakers win you games. That's how we've gotten here. You can't be too stubborn to use what you have because you want to get the credit.
I don't necessarily think it's reinventing the wheel, but more so kind of, I guess, sharpening up on little things, like
So
being more in a rhythm on a week-to-week basis. Kind of.
So Pierre,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question in response to that. So, you know, where wow, just completely lost my train of thought. I was trying to.
He was trying to work through it slowly.
I know. I was like,
come
oh
back.
man. So, this is what it was, right? Exactly. We're not reinventing the wheel, right? That's where my point about continuity came in, Quell. Of like, this is a guy who's been around the team. He has a button pushing, wing popping ring as well. You know, he was there, so he knows what works and how to win with this team. And so I think that's crucial. Pierre, I agree with you. Where I think it's like, there needs to be evolution to the offense. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's sharpening, which is like you said. And I think it's a really good way to put it, because that's what every offense does every year. But what I wanted to ask is like, is it really sharpening? I mean, they're sharpening, but is it really changing that much? Or is it just, on the other side of Quell's point, just being ready to play the other side of our offense, right? Like teams are going to now
add the elements that we didn't
exactly.
showcase.
Teams are going to be ready to stop the run. That's what the teams are going to do. And now, given they tried to do that last year, and there's not much they could do about it, but that's going to be teams' focuses. So in the games that we saw that the running game was shut down and the Eagles were able to throw the ball and we enjoyed it, like the Commanders,
Even the Super Bowl,
exactly. So we just need to see that continue to evolve, to continue to grow. So it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just, now we need to build up the other side of what we've been doing so well, you know, and that's what's going to make us such a tough team to play against. In the same way of like, hey, get players who have grown up playing in the heat and get them to play in the cold. Now they can do anything. Let's do it for our offense.
Yeah, and even to that, it kind of coincides with Jalen in his development as a quarterback, and kind of the little things like the timing, or him, you know, those intermediate routes and the screen game and different things of that. So I think, you know, we're in a good position, man. We're in a good place.
I guess, I mean, finally, here we are, an hour and 2 minutes in, and we finally started the podcast. But to play devil's advocate, like, I really want to agree with you guys. In theory, in a perfect world, I should agree with you guys. But the same point that I've mentioned for months is still the same point that, until I'll be honest with you guys, until I have a firm answer as to what the Kevin Patullo offense will look like, this point will always stand as Kevin Patullo's job was the pass game coordinator, and our pass offense stunk. It stunk up until the last month of the season, barely, because it wasn't all that hot in Green Bay. Well, when Green Bay came to town, and then we played in the snow. So, I mean, hey, extra points for our play caller trying to get our quarterback killed, calling rollouts with a bum knee. But whatever, who's talking about that? But the play calling or the passing game stunk. I don't know if it was the play calling, the execution, what they're coaching, but something has to give. And for y'all to feel comfortable enough to hire the pass game coordinator, and granted, he's in a different role now. Now he's the play caller. But, like, what confidence have you installed in me for me to feel good in my passing offense for us to talk about this next evolution?
I think it's just that we saw the flashes, right? We saw it in the playoffs, especially. We saw it in the NFC Championship. We saw it in the Super Bowl. I think it's just it's a matter of building upon those games. I think last year, especially, we were really dependent on the run game, right? Like, it was like that was our identity, and I think it should continue to be our identity. And I'm not saying anything against that, but it became so much of our identity that it became tough for us to pivot sometimes. And I think this year, after, you know, how we finished the season and everything, I think now maybe this is just like all, you know, bullshit, like, you know, rainbows and butterflies, but like, I think they just have belief, right? And belief is a hell of a thing, that like, hey, we can do this passing game. Because it felt like last year, passing game was off because they just were off. There was miscommunication between them. And like you said, Quell, this could totally be on pass coordinator. And so we could just be walking into like lava. But I also can believe that, hey, like, we were so just about running the ball that sometimes it was like, oh shit, we have to pass the ball right now. And then you have to remember, like, oh, we have AJ Brown, we have Devontae Smith, we have Jalen Hurts. You know, I just think having that identity, knowing that, hey, we can win playing our ball. We can do this. We've dominated at every level. I think it instills your team with some confidence. But point being, we're not going to know anything until the season starts. So I think that's a good place to wrap. Any last comments from you guys about what we discussed? I think it was a good pod.
I mean, just to wrap it up on my end,
please.
Like I said, it's like a love-hate relationship, and we haven't even seen him do anything with me and Kevin. Because I want to, like Pierre discussed, he has so many bright ideas and things from the past that he's worked with that when you're talking schematics and like he said, just trying to talk ball, it makes you excited about the potential of adding all that to this offense. I guess the thing that kind of stresses me out is you kind of like you mentioned that belief part. I like to think that, yeah, they had a belief. They had a belief in 2023 that they could figure it out. I mean, it kind of worked. It didn't work at all. You had players out there calling their own plays. Then they had a belief last year that they could figure it out, and it took a while. But I truly think they had great belief in the play caller and Kellen Moore, the breath of fresh air.
I agree.
Getting that new guy in the building, getting some. When you talk Kevin Patullo, and this, don't take anything from this. I think they love Kevin. Don't get me wrong. He's been there since the start of. He's seen all of them continue to grow, but
he doesn't have the aura.
I don't think it's the aura. That remains to be seen. I think it's more of a.
Kevin got a little bit of aura to him.
Why Pierre? The orologist had to let him know. He said, having watched Kevin Patullo's press conferences, that gentleman has a good amount of aura, you could say.
But just how do they receive him? And it kind of all goes back to Jalen Hurts' initial press conference. Like, it's not like he did disclaimed him or anything, but it's more of a we know Kevin in this kind of aspect, but now he's stepping into an entirely different role. How we can't afford to have Brian Johnson 2.0, for lack of a better term, this time on the Knicks side.
Please no.
Chill out.
Again, I'm rooting for him, but I mean, it's one thing where you have an impartial party, like we mentioned, and like you said, I'm happy that he holds Nick to his shit. Like, somebody got to hold him accountable. Hopefully, he stays with that, because y'all can't be two at the same coin. We need that type of guy in the building.
Absolutely, Nick's crash out. We got to keep every crash out needs a buddy, man. It's how it goes. One crash out to another. Need someone there to control the crash outs. That's how it goes. Quell, I mean, sum up your point. I think I was completely right when I said aura. If he has aura, they're gonna adopt him, bro. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's be honest. If he walks in there and walks in with the aura, a little strut,
with the visor,
maybe has like a background song coming on. Maybe he has Enter the Sandman as he enters the room.
HB 96 halfback wheel on 3.
I'm in, brother. We're running halfback dive every goddamn play, and I'll run through a rock wall for you, coach. Anything you need. If you got aura. Now, if you don't have aura, like I'm not gonna block the guy in front of me. So just Kevin Patullo, get some nice sunglasses or something, bro. I don't know. Figure it out. Some Cartiers. I don't know. Whatever he's got to do. Could you imagine Patullo just shows up like he's got like Cartiers on? He's like.
Fitted jeans, Apple Watch.
He's like
calling plays off the Apple Watch.
He's communicating to Jalen through the Apple Watch. He's like, "So Jalen, what we're gonna run here is Y spider cross banana split." All right, we're getting to the point of the podcast where we're just talking about nonsense because it's late and we're hallucinating. So. Thank you all to all 115. Oh my God! Right as we're signing off, man, y'all need to tap in earlier. But all 115 of you who tapped in with us,
and get active in the comments, man.
Yes, that seriously, give us questions. We're happy to answer questions. Like, just converse with us. This is really supposed to be like kicking it with your friends, man. Like, I know we're kind of weird, but like, pretend we're your friends. Pretend you like us and you want to ask us questions, but. It was good to talk some ball, man. It's been too long. We've been talking about random Twitter arguments for so long. But it was good. It was great to have everybody back. We really appreciate y'all as always. Make sure to rate, listen, review, subscribe. 5 stars as always. And like Pierre said, comment, interact with us, whether it's the page, whatever it is. Let us know what you want to hear about. We're happy to talk about other things. Just reach out.
Yeah, and to that point, before the season starts sometime, we haven't figured out the exact date yet, but we're gonna do a mailbag pod. So get active with that too.
Yeah. All right.
Anything to add, Q?
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
All right. Go Birds.